and consciousness. Now, how it works in the body, my theory at least, is the same what I think is happening with crop circles. Why? Because that's a strange association, to put it like this, a body and a crop circle. Well, if you have a field, it's very 2D to us. If you would be a snail walking on this 2D surface, you wouldn't see a thing because you can't see up, right? You go left, you go right, and if I put my foot like this before the snail, it thinks it sees a UFO transferring from one kind of thing to another, okay? You understand that? And we are limited in a 3-dimensional sense. We can see height or maybe 4-dimension time. But what if, that's my theory, a crop circle is actually the real crop circles? I'm not talking about the ones humans made to debunk stuff, but the ones birds pass by like this. Psychics see a sphere above it. Electromagnetics change. If the BBC goes in with a lot of batteries to film it, batteries they use in the army for like 8 hours or whatever, and then they're gone, or your displays, or then something electromagnetically is happening. Something really changed the biophysics of the crop, of the soil, of the water under the soil, which is a perfect carrier for information transfer, and sacred geometry information. So you see where I'm heading at? I think it's a multidimensional holographic projection of sound, light and energy fields. Whatever format, it's something which gets projected onto this 2D field. We live in a 3D world, but this field is 2D to us. That's why we see these beautiful pictures. But they're not only beautiful, they also contain sacred geometry and actual formulas like an alchemist would make them, like potencies. But even more interestingly, they contain something like a sphere, because it's something like a slice of my brain scan. I'm not sure if you know how they make brain scans. You could do something like this or something like this, but just think of it of a very thin slice of my brain. Okay, now because I'm a neuropsychologist, I know about MRI scans, so I thought, hey, that's the clue here. Because if there's a structure here in 3D which goes like this or whatever, if you take it here, it's different than if you take it here. Maybe here it's very wide, and maybe here it's just once, you see it like, yeah. So you see, depending on where I slice it, you get a different information. It could be the same thing with crop circles, because they are actually projections from somewhere, okay, whatever or whoever does it, projections onto a flat surface. But the fact that it combines with matter and puts its blueprint into matter on a 2D level doesn't mean it's not higher dimensional in the first place. So when I find out that there's an army guy telling another crop circle researcher, Jeannette Ossebaard from the Netherlands, maybe you know her, telling the same story I thought as a theory, he said, you should be amazed, you would be amazed how many there actually are. She's saying, actually are? I've seen a lot. Which one did I miss? Or didn't I find it? Or did the farmer cut off all the fields? No, the ones we do not allow to being put down. What does that say? Yes, the army is involved, if that's true. 2, there is interference and sometimes things go wrong and things get chased perhaps. But 3, it gives us very important information on how it works. Because this means the army has equipment, and of course they always have equipment which is light years from what we use in the commercial world. Equipment to measure, let's say, an incoming crop circle. They can actually measure what I called, not crop circles, but air circles, because basically I think that's the higher dimensional holographic lattice, blueprint, whatever, which is already in the air, literally, but which is not being allowed to contact matter in the form we know, earth, soil. So when it's not put down, like a stamp, you have the blueprint in your hand, and you play God. You have a stamp, you have an invoice, and you go to the postal office and you say, approved or non-approved. You go out of the country or you can leave the country, whatever. You have the stamp in your hand and you can play God, like I'm gonna print it or not.
You're saying that the army are actually stopping some of these crop circles from being printed?
That's what this guy was saying, and that's what I'm believing. Because if you, because if you see those videos where a ball of light is being chased by a helicopter, or even a bird approaching it and thinking oops and going the other way, of course you don't know for sure how the video is being made, but there's a lot of convincing evidence, I think, that balls of light are also connected to the process of crop circle making. So if you look at it like this and you hear the statement of this army guy, then you actually have some indirect proof that are interfering with the making of crop circles. And of course we also know they are debunking the stuff. We also know that some are human-made crop circles and being laughed at when researchers believe it's a real thing, just to have the general impressions for the audience that crop circles are not real. And let's be fair, I am a regular scientist, while I also be very multidimensional, holographically interested in knowing more now, but a few years ago, let's say 10, 15 years ago, I knew that vaccines were safe and effective. Let's be sure about this. They're very dangerous and they're very ineffective. Now I know that, but it wasn't in the textbooks. Okay? I knew the reality was biochemically based, substance based, and it was matter and hormones and neurotransmitters. And it wasn't.